Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zeus Angel Mystic Tarot. And today, I just finished up the November reads for all the signs. The Mercury retrograde readings are all up. So I highly recommend checking your sun, moon, and rising. You should find something that resonates with you in one of those placements. And that brings me to the topic of today is first of all the headline. You're watching YouTube Tarot wrong. Clearly, there is no right or wrong way to watch YouTube. Not at all. But I do want to make a few suggestions or recommendations that might help you when you're stumbling across somebody's YouTube tarot video. The first thing, which is very, very important to me as somebody who knows a little bit about astrology, is that sun sign astrology is not accurate. So if you are watching tarot, YouTube tarot, from your sun sign perspective, it's not wrong. Like I said, nothing's really wrong when it comes to YouTube tarot. If a headline, a title of a video catches your eye, watch it. It doesn't matter what the sign is, you guys, because we all have 12 signs in our natal chart. If you don't know what your natal chart is, I'm talking astrology speak. So I recommend going to AstroSeek and looking up. You have to put in all of your birth details and finding out what your natal chart reading is. And you're going to want to look for your ascendant or your rising sign. And I talk about this a lot on here, you guys, because astrology is done so wrong in the States. And that's why it gets such a bad rep, because our sun sign isn't the most important in our natal chart as far as horoscopes. When you go to an astrologer and you get an astrology reading, it's not the same as tarot. I understand that. You're reading for your rising sign. So that's why I always say in the videos, check your rising, check your moon, and then watch your sun. But of course, if a video title catches your eye, it doesn't matter what the sign is, because we all have 12 signs in our natal chart. Every single one of us has all 12 signs in there. At one, in our Mercury, maybe we have. And also another thing, especially if you guys are into astrology and you watch astrology videos, there is a lot of different types of astrology. So, and tropical is, in my opinion, the least accurate, which is what we practice here in the States. That's why I recommend going to AstroSeek and looking up your sidereal chart. Vedic astrology is really the most accurate. It's the oldest type of astrology that there is. But it's a lot harder to read. So check out your sidereal chart on AstroSeek, compare it to your tropical chart. And from now on, start watching your rising and your moon and see if the videos relate more. But also, keynote, if you just want to watch tarot and you're watching it regardless of the sign, it's probably meant for you. Because the way tarot works, if you don't know this, we are all going to relate to every single tarot card in the deck at one point in our lives. And that's just the way tarot is made. So, to be quite fair, it's really not important what the sign is when you're watching YouTube tarot. But if you do want to have the readings be a little bit more accurate, or, feel like they resonate more, try your rising and your moon placement and then go to the sun. America has really messed up astrology, and it's a science, and it's an exact science, and it's based on degrees. So, and tarot is astrology. If you don't know that already, for example, the Emperor card is Aries energy, and it's card number 0 in the tarot sequence. Hey guys, hey. Yes, I am American. So just a little tip, you don't have to listen to me. You can continue watching from your sun sign. But if you're watching, especially if you're watching in all signs, definitely check out at least the rising sign along with the sun and the moon. Okay, because the moon actually, if you're looking for a love reading, honestly, watching your moon placement is probably going to be the most accurate, the most resonative, because it's how you feel your emotions. So, and for me, I know that when I watch, like, for example, if you go to that website I was just mentioning, AstroSeek, and you look up your natal chart, you'll see that your sun, moon, and rising might not be the same as they are in tropical. Mine are not the same. In tropical, I'm Pisces, Cancer, and Taurus. And then in sidereal or Vedic astrology, I'm Aquarius, and so a few other ones. Doesn't matter, they're different. So, and then when you do that, you're going to be like, well, I'm just going to be watching six different placements. That's exactly what I'm saying. The signs aren't the most important when you're watching tarot on YouTube. The sign isn't the most important thing. What's important is, oh, you know what? That headline matches what I'm going through. That to me is most important. Um, but yeah, I love sidereal astrology. So if you're gonna watch horoscopes, try from your rising and your moon and see how that works for you. Also, you guys, it's really important when you come on YouTube, tarot, to have an open mind, because it is not not realistic to think that every tarot reader, every tarot reading is going to match exactly what you feel, because there's thousands of people watching that video. So it's not realistic to think, oh, um, this is exactly what I'm going through, or this is exactly what my person's going through. That's not realistic. So that's why, to adjust that, make a few adjustments when you're watching YouTube tarot, because it isn't a personal reading, right? Especially because most readers do pre-recorded, and because they're doing pre-recorded, they're not doing live. That means your energy is not affecting the video, because what happens in those videos when they do pre-recorded is it taps more into the tarot reader's energy than yours. That's why, well, there's a few reasons why I do live, but watching them live is the best way for your energy to influence the reading, because it's like you're there with them. By watching pre-recorded videos, you're most likely hearing what's going on with their influence. The tarot reader's influence is going to be heavily, their energy is going to be heavy on that tarot reading. So, but also, now I'm not going to shame anyone. Everybody watch what you want when you want. If you don't want to listen to me, that's totally fine. I'm just giving some viewing knowledge for your enjoyment here. Um, so I am going to do a collective reading as well. But try that out, you guys. And definitely, if you're watching a tarot reader live, that's probably the best way to get your energy onto the cards. And don't just watch your sun sign, especially not if you're wanting love. Watch, I think it's either your Venus placement and your moon placement. Like, and whatever you have in your seventh house, because the seventh house rules your relationships. So whatever sign that you have in your seventh house, highly recommend doing that. And then for me, my overall chart is ruled by water. So you can watch all the water signs. For example, if your natal chart is heavily ruled by the element fire, you could probably watch every single reading for every single fire sign and get something out of it. So, but yeah, your soul is craving something more than wanting to know what's going on with your person. And I say this all the time, and I don't want to shame anyone, because I know we all come on here to see what our crush is thinking and feeling. But you're really doing yourself a disservice when you do that, um, because you're giving your power away, and because the reading, more than likely, it's going to pull what you think that person is feeling. I'm not saying it's impossible to watch a pre-recorded reading and, oh, that's exactly what my person is thinking. It's not impossible. However, what will probably happen is the cards will reflect back to you what you think they think, because it's pulling your energy more. You're the querent, so it's going to pull you and what you're thinking and feeling more so than somebody else who's not in the room. That would be a one-on-one reading, where you like tap into the other person's energy So when you're watching YouTube, try and watch it from your perspective. And I'm not saying, you can do whatever you want, but for you to get the most out of it, try and think of it as a reflection of you. And what does my higher self really want for me? Does my higher self really want me to be, on bended knee for someone? No, no, absolutely not. God doesn't want you to be sitting and pining for somebody who isn't right for you. So, and speaking of which, we have the Eight of Swords, and this has been coming out for a lot of the signs. We're doing a collective reading now, you guys. So, all of the zodiac signs are in this energy of overthinking, and the eight is the self. So, it's the self, it's the subconscious, it's the higher power giving us downloads. And swords is air energy, and that's communication and thoughts. And I just feel like there's a lot of thoughts stuck in the collective's mind right now. And it's almost like if we sit and think about something, we can fix it. But it's actually the opposite. We need to get into our body more. So a lot of people could feel in this energy of mental restriction, beating yourself up. I don't like to see that actually, because the Eight of Swords is virtually a mental prison. And I feel like with the Tower here, we're in Scorpio energy. The Tower is Scorpio. There is a lot of unexpected changes in the world right now as a whole. And that could have people in fear a little bit. And that's what I'm seeing here, the Eight of Swords and the Tower. So what's going on for the collective? How y'all doing? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that jazz. What's going on for the collective? Ten of Wands. I just feel like everybody feels weighed down. There's this heaviness, like we're carrying a rock up a hill, just like the image says right there. Ten of Wands. Things are difficult right now. It's got me in my head. There's all these unexpected changes, and I don't know what to do about it. Okay. So let's get some advice. The Knight of Swords is the warrior. This is a lot more mental energy. And I just feel like with this energy, try and be gentle with yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, because we're all on a rock in space. So we're all out there floating, and we're all trying to figure out how to navigate the slings and arrows of being a human. And, I just feel like everybody is so defensive, and everybody is so quick to judge themselves harshly in comparison to other people. But, just be gentle with yourself and see how that changes your environment. Soft, easy, gentle. We are in retrograde, so I'm not surprised I'm seeing the Hanged Man. I think also some of this mental fatigue, this mental activity that the collective is experiencing is due to the fact that you feel like you can't do something that you want to do, or that something's not coming together the way that you want it to, right? I think this generation has a difficult time just in the stillness. And that's exactly what Mercury retrograde is. Even though you feel in limbo, even though you feel restricted, this is really a time to relax and not fear mongering, because a lot of astrologers are going to fear monger you. It's Mercury retrograde. Bad things are going to happen. Don't do this. Don't do that. No, no, that's not what we're doing. Um, it's just a time of slowdown. It's just a time to look back at certain things, not to dwell on the past, but to make the present better. Because I see, and I just said this in another live, that, for example, Hillary Duff, I'm not necessarily a fan of Hillary Duff, but this is a perfect example for me of what retrograde can do for us. She recently released a new album after a long period of time, and retrograde is a really good time to go back to something that you wanted to do, that you wanted to finish, or that you wanted to make better and make it better. Make plans to make it better. Do it again. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's a career, whether that's a hobby, whether that's a dream, whether that's a vacation. I know there's a lot of talk about traveling isn't good during retrograde, and I wouldn't recommend it right now in America. Unless you're driving. But my point is that retrograde can be a really, really good time actually to start acting on plans, things that you wanted to create or make come happen. So there's a limbo energy. It's a time to let go and let God, get a different perspective on life so that when you do, when you are out of this feeling restricted or delayed period of time, you know what you're doing and you know where you're going. Ah, Five of Cups. Yes, this is also retrograde energy. Um, it says on here, a disaster aboard the space cruiser, Sigma, but is all hope lost? There is always more to the story. So not all hope is lost. It's a time for looking back with disappointment. A lot of people look back in disappointment during Mercury retrograde. The shoulda, woulda, coulda. I could have done this. I could have done that. And like it's a huge reflection on who you are. No, it doesn't mean that you're a failure or that you should give up on something. It means that you need to pivot. So to look back, do not look back in anger. Do not look back in regret, because that will cause you pain and distress in the current moment, and you'll be missing out on opportunities. So I know that a lot of us have pain when we come to YouTube Tarot to commiserate with, our breakup stories and things like that. But lingering in that energy will do more damage than good. So to try and look back, with a gentle mind as much as you can and learn the lessons so that we're not repeating it. And that's really what retrograde is. Learning the lessons of the past so that you can grow. Page of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. And I do feel like there's this energy of wanting newness despite the stillness, despite the disappointment, despite the overthinking. Page of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. And the Page of Cups is like a very creative and youthful energy. And with the cups, it's like I wanting to feel alive again, wanting to feel spirited again. And for some of you guys, it's wanting to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Doesn't always have to be about love, it can be, but it's like, am I putting in my good energy towards something that will help me grow? Page of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, because the Queen of Pentacles, is very resourceful in her finances, but also is a very nurturing energy. It's something that, where you are nurturing yourself from the inside out. And if if you have all this youthful, happy energy and you put it into something or someone that's just draining you and that's not nurturing you, you're definitely going to feel Five of Cups, disappointed, Eight of Swords stuck in your head, Hanged Man in limbo, can't move forward. We really have to reassess where we're putting our good energy, where we're putting our good intentions. And so there's this wanting, this desire, this hopefulness that you can have something here that's more fulfilling and substantial. Queen of Cups. I think a lot of you guys who watch tarot are a little bit psychic yourself. The Queen of Cups actually isn't given enough credit. This is water sign energy. Isn't given enough credit for being somebody who really is an empath. When I say empath, I mean you can sense energies, you can sense on a deeper level what somebody's going through, and um, yourself are very sensitive and gentle with energies here. Queen of Cups. But the thing about this energy is that if it doesn't have any boundaries, then it can easily be taken for granted. Even, have someone completely take advantage of the emotions that you're offering them. It says here, she holds life in the palm of her hand. Queen of Cups. So I feel like a lot of you are empaths, are very intuitive, are very like sensitive to energies, and you give love easy. And a lot of the times people will take that for granted, but that doesn't mean that you should stop doing that, right? And the Page of Wands. So I love this. I feel like we're just holding out hope for good news. We're just holding out hope that, we'll find someone who will message us back or something like that. And I feel like, yes, we'll have good days and we'll have bad days. That's just normal. That's just what it's like being human. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, you guys. Temperance and the Queen of Swords. So we're going to be in Sagittarius energy. That's why we've been seeing the Temperance a lot in like a week or so. We're going to be in Sagittarius energy. And it's retrograde in Sagittarius. So just be mindful if you're traveling during that time. There could be a lot of delays. But I do feel like with the Temperance and the Queen of Swords, what I'm hearing is, healing this hypervigilance, healing this overthinking, healing this because the Queen of Swords is a divorcee. It doesn't matter about the gender here. This is just the type of person who's been hurt really badly and is always defensive. And I've been seeing that a lot in the readings, and that is something in the collective. And I think that's affecting the dating pool, that people are just walking around with a chip on their shoulder, like, what's the point in me healing? What's the point in me allowing someone in? They're just going to hurt me. And that creates this Five of Cups dynamic. So that's something that I'm hoping the collective can heal, so that you can experience positivity, positive love in the collective. Because when we're talking about the collective, we're talking about all of humanity. We're talking about all of consciousness. And it's not just you, experiencing this heartache and going out there and getting ghosted, or, it's not just you. We're all experiencing that. And we have the Six of Cups here, total retrograde energy, Five of Cups to the Six of Cups. Don't stay stuck in the past too long. The future through the eyes of the past. This is really doing damage, because the past is the past. And I know it's okay to reminisce, but if you stay in that energy too long, I got hurt and I'm never going to heal and I'm never going to meet someone, or so much trauma. Like, if you stay in that energy, you will create that in your current reality. So I'm really hoping that the collective can learn to stay present and learn to stay focused in the moment, and to open your heart, to not feel like every scenario to connect with someone is going to be a chance to get hurt. So hold on to hopefulness, you guys. I promise it will help you so much. Okay, I'm going to get on out of here, you guys. This was just kind of a little chat about astrology and a little chat about how you watch YouTube. But watch as you please. You don't have to listen to me. Just a good recommendation, you guys. And I have done all the signs, Mercury retrograde reading under the lives tab. So you can watch your sun, moon, rising, Venus, all of those placements. And I do recommend watching them and watching them all the way through to the end, because I've noticed that you guys only watch for a minute and the reading doesn't get impactful until the end. So try watching all the way through, try challenging yourself, and leave a comment if you do, so that I can know that you were there and that you were engaged, because it really matters to me to know that you guys are engaged with the content. I will be starting a new series on here for the signs for December. We're going to get into that, and I'm probably going to start on that maybe today or tomorrow. So look out for that, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.